So, evidently ritual monsters are getting an overhaul. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Now, this week's episode of Rush Duel evidently has given us some insight as to how Rush Duel is going to be changing rituals. Now, before you click off of this video and you go, Robbie, this is Rush Duel, I don't care about this. All things in Rush Duel have applications to the actual game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I have to be the bearer of bad news for you to tell you this, because as we're kind of heading forward out here, you know, we are, 3 weeks away from Jump Festa. If we are now seeing ritual monsters being explored as an overhaul mechanic out here, then that means that we are not going to get another core mechanic in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But instead, this is going to see a change and a restructuring in Rush Duel to accommodate to a new typing, which means they're not out of ideas yet, actually. Rush Duel, you've got to remember, will be heading into its 9th anime this year. Now, the thing I want to talk about with this, and I want to talk a little bit more about Jump Festa and what this ritual showcase that we're kind of expecting is. Now, we do not have a lot of details on this ritual mechanic so far. From what I've been able to kind of gather from this, what we have for the ritual mechanic is pretty simple, actually. You activate a spell card, fulfill your tributes, and then you're able to summon the ritual monster from the extra deck. So that means that this ritual is taking up a slot in the extra deck. Now, here's an interesting discussion point for that. In the actual core game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In a perfect world out here, would you consider playing ritual monsters if they were available in the extra deck? Because this opens up an interesting discussion, because now you just have to have the specific spell card to be able to summon them. Now, I think this makes... See, this is a difficult one, because I feel like in the core game of Yu-Gi-Oh! To see something like this cuts back on some of the issues, because now you're taking away some of the potential extra deck options that you could have. Which, I mean, okay, shoving another type into the extra deck in the 15 card pool, I guess might make rituals a little bit worse, but if I'm able to normal summon one monster, go get the spell card, and then I can ritual summon right away there, then that means I no longer have to search for that secondary component, and congratulations, we now have met the requirements to get the ritual monster on the field. That seems pretty good to me, actually. You know, simplifying rituals is just that. But now that we're taking up extra deck slots out here, now remember, the only real things that exist within Master Duel's extra deck are just fusion monsters. We don't have synchros. We don't have any of that. They did push Contact Fusion, which pushed very, very strongly, actually. So, you know, we kind of went through the introductory spell card phase, you know, for fusions. They're like, hey, you know, we can do all these very simplistic fusion spells, as they're going to call it. You know, you'll be able to go through all of these straight components. And then they're like, all right, so now we can expand the action. Now we got to get rituals into the game. Because, like I said, ritual has been the one thing that Rush Duel has had zero ability to be able to access, which is kind of crazy to think about out here. You know, I don't know, I'm very intrigued with this. So now you have two things fighting for the slots in the extra deck. I can't wait to see, you know, synchros, exceeds, because you know these things will eventually make their way in, probably in the much later half of the anime. Now, I told you I wanted to talk more about now that we know that this is coming. This tells me that the big announcement at Jump Festa will be a continuation of the anime, which means it was 7 Roads Magician, 8s was the current anime. We'll be going into 9s. Alright, now, I guess I have to explain this to people how this works. 7s was 7 Roads Magician anime. Then we went into the Galaxy anime, which was the current. Whatever we've got going on with rituals and bigger headliners here will probably be centraled around the 9th anime. Now you gotta remember, they're tossing this in right now as a generalized intro to things. And Konami likes to kind of... So one cool thing I always loved about the anime was we can kind of toss in these little spoilers into the future out here. You know, we can lucridate them into future sets. It's all kind of cool. But now that we have confirmation for this, we are also still expecting the next anime project. Now remember, during the last big Jump Festa, we had that whole big thing with all of the monsters coming to life. It was Konami's 3.5-minute showcase of, hey, thanks for giving us your money. We made you this cool anime trailer. By the way, this is a giant spoiler of everything to come in the upcoming year. I will tell you, I am very curious to know if they're going to do the same thing again this year. Because I kind of feel like at this point in time, you know, they're ramping up for Nines. All right. They've been hard at work with the showcases they had last year. It still kind of puts me back here to the lore story that we're expecting. They have really been, the fact that they've been pushing, and I don't know if you guys pay much attention to the statue market, but they are still pushing these Art of the Monster figures. These things exist out here, and they are doing fantastic, you know, for the market. So I'm not going to be surprised to see if we do get another anime tie-in with a lore story with this, because, you know, we're getting an overhaul on rituals in the upcoming Nines anime, the way it looks. That's so very interesting. I would love to see, I'm going to be honest with you here for a second. I would love to see Konami overhaul rituals in the core game itself. I don't think anybody, I wouldn't be opposed to keeping some rituals available in the extra deck. Maybe make them a different shade of blue. I think that would be really, really cool. It would also be really, really cool to have certain spell cards that say you can ritual summon from the extra deck or from the main deck. I guess that you once again, it comes down to that different shade of coloring that you're being forced to kind of analyze and look at here, because, you know, man, that feels bad for somebody that can't tell the difference between a light blue and a dark blue, though. I guess this is all just a giant actual issue. At least with, I guess also for the people that wanted Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 out here, Rush Duel has kind of filled this void for you. You've gotten the chance to kind of see Konami go, hey, you wanted a simpler time, you wanted the ability to unload your hands, you wanted the ability to summon out these large amounts of monsters. It's the cool thing that we have Maximum Summon in the game. I really wish, I would love to see Maximum Summon in actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I've joked about that. I also want to see the actual full arts together, too. I don't think a single person denies that. You know, those Overrush rares, those extremely flashy cards, I don't know why core Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so afraid to do that. I guess they're worried about taking away the aesthetic feel of the old cards, but come on, guys, you need to do something at this point in time. Every other card game is getting so much further ahead of you in the market of exploring. When you stick to your old guns, I mean, yeah, sure, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has its abilities. Yu-Gi-Oh! Can pull out some incredibly interesting marketing strategies when they need to. We've seen it. I mean, look at this. You have Ritual coming to Rush Duel, basically. I can't imagine how this is going to not turn out to be a good thing. I'm just worried about, you know, where the next mechanic goes. You know, you've already got your extra deck now fighting for two things, but, you know, as we've seen in core Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know, they'll eventually bring synchros into the universe. You'll eventually bring in Xyz, you know. I can't imagine how pendulums work in this, but you know what? That's fine. This also gives more life to Duel Links, and you know what? I'll take that as well. Hey, let the people that enjoy Duel Links do their thing. Final thoughts here. Your next announcement will probably be Nines. Jump Festa is 3.5 weeks away. We are going to see a pretty major announcement spree of things. I am expecting some of the craziest announcements for news that we have ever seen out of the block. I'm expecting 2025 to set up extremely well. I'm expecting a lot of cool surprises with this. And to those of you that are like, I'm done with Yu-Gi-Oh! That's cool, man. I'll be excited for this. You can sit over there in the corner and be upset. But what mechanic do you want to see come to Yu-Gi-Oh! Next? And which mechanic do you want to see come to Rush Duel next, actually? You're probably about 2 years away from another new mechanic in Rush Duel, but I think that's fine. I don't think we necessarily want to be rushing this to, you know, get a little bit too far out of, you know, reach. But it is a good day. I like what I'm seeing. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons! Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.